guys, Jenny with On Fire Fit, and welcome to another episode of Healing Habits. So we are moving right along in our series, and we have been talking about the animal or fleshly instincts and urges and the higher power, the brain, the prefrontal cortex part of our brain, where we have self-control and discipline, and we're able to resist urges that may not be serving us anymore. And so as a quick little recap, I talked about the idea that those urges that we sometimes have are neurological junk, and they don't make us bad or out of control, but they are simply old junky patterns that we repeated in the past and that they don't serve us anymore. And so if they don't serve us, then let them go. The next step, and this is again in the book Brain Over Binge, and I will link details about that below, but I really think that that concept applies to us in all areas of our life, not just over binge, but over all that neurological junk of habits that we have created in the past. And so I really think that the author of that book hit on something that's very simple, maybe not always easy, because it does require a little bit of effort and thought, a lot of effort maybe, but it is still something that I think is really transforming for us. So in her book, she talks about some of this, and so I'm just kind of applying it here. The second step is to separate your higher brain, and you're separating that from the urge. And so the spirit indwelled by the Holy Spirit in your higher brain. Now, she doesn't talk about the Holy Spirit, but I'm using that in my situation here because that's how I believe that we can understand this from a perspective of faith. But we can separate that higher brain from the urges. And when we do that, that allows us to kind of step back and have a perspective. Then the third step is to stop reacting to the urges. Whatever that old habit was, just stop reacting to it. And I know that sounds super simple, but I think a lot of times we let our feelings take over. We let ourselves get so deep into the feeling behind it, even to the point where we maybe analyze it a lot. Well, I need to eat this because I've been so good all day, or I feel like I'm tired and this will lift me up, or whatever little thing we use, little trick in our brain to excuse us again. We need to just stop reacting to that urge and be able to step back and look at it from the standpoint of, it's not me. That's not who, that doesn't even connect to me in a feelings way. The next thing is to stop acting on that. So first of all, stop feeling it, then stop acting on it. So the only reason habits continue is because we keep doing them. So if you stop the habit, and if you stop every time pouring fuel on that fire, if you watched my other videos, if you stop pouring fuel on that fire and repeating that habit, well, eventually it's going to die off. Those tracks in the brain don't continue to fire and wire together anymore. And so what we do is we say, I'm not going to be reacting to that by feeling, and I'm just not going to act on it anymore because it doesn't serve me. Why would I keep doing something that doesn't serve me? And then the last thing she says is to get excited. And I feel like that is one of the areas where you keep the brain firing those neurons, because you get excited. And in my, applying this, basically that same concept from her book into my life, I get excited by the spirit moving in me and my willing and active participation in the rewiring of my brain. To me, that is super exciting. So every time I choose to ignore my feelings about that urge or act on it, it's very exciting. And that's how we keep wiring our brain, pouring fuel on those good, healthy habits. So, okay, that is the next in the series of healing habits. I'm so glad that you've been with me today, and I hope you're living your life on fire. And this is a pair of heels that my friend Elizabeth passed down to me, and I'm very blessed and fortunate to have a friend who wears the same size of shoes as me. And she has excellent taste in heels, so I think these are really cute. They're actually kind of like a navy, but it's hard to tell. Maybe in this video it might look a little bit more black, but these, I believe, are Charles David. Let's see. Looks like it. Charles David.